Europeans have always had tails, dangling vestiges of an unfinished species, twitching and curling like the shameful proof of their half-formed evolution. They tried to hide them under furs, under silk, under the stiff cages of aristocratic fashion. But the tail always betrayed them, flicking in candlelight, rustling through banquet halls, brushing against cobblestones slick with sewage. The tail marked them as primitive, as tethered to the beast they pretended to have transcended. No matter the century, no matter the empire, the tail lingered, a whip of bone and sinew dragging behind every civilized performance. Crusaders clanked across deserts with tails tucked between their armored legs, knights in shining steel revealing twitching shadows on stone walls. Their scholars scribbled theories of superiority, while their tails swept inkpots off desks, staining parchment with the evidence of their own regression. While Africa mastered balance, poise, and upright being, Europe lurched forward with tails dragging through mud, sweeping parasites across damp stone hovels. While the Americas danced, hunted, and built civilizations, Europeans were gnawing on stale bread with tails wagging behind them like starving dogs. Asia refined posture into art, martial discipline, and elegance. Yet Europeans slouched, tails curled around their ankles like chains, tripping them, binding them, reminding them of the swamp they crawled from. Even their royalty, powdered wigs, jeweled crowns, perfumed skin, couldn't disguise the twitch of a pale appendage, betraying their every lie of civilization. Courtiers whispered not of bloodlines, but of tail lengths, measuring worth not in intellect, but in how far the appendage could be concealed underneath velvet robes. Entire dynasties rose and fell not by divine right, but by how poorly their tails behaved in public. The tail was their signature, their burden, their truth. Every cobblestone it scraped, every floorboard it tapped, every parasitic flea it carried across kingdoms, testified to a lineage unbroken in beastliness. They never shed it. They simply repressed it, bound it, lied about it. But history remembers, and evolution itself exposes what silk and perfume could not. Cope.
This is a picture of an actual human baby that was born with a tail. This is known as a vestigial tail. The tail will continue to develop and a baby could actually be born like this. This is very rare, but if it does happen, the sizes can vary to up to several centimeters. The good news is typically there's no bony structures in these tails and they can be surgically removed. However, this can happen in humans and this is known as a vestigial tail.
This is Uncle Mike, and this one is silly, but it's really true. I was born with a tail right there, and it was about that long. You can check your books. Some people are born with a tail.
I asked the doctor what the little bump on her bum was right after she was born, and he said that was what was left of her tail from when she was a little tadpole.
Do you have a really, really weird birthmark on your body? Because I want to see it.
Not birthmark, but birth defect, and I can't show it, but I was born with a tail and it was cut off. So there's the scar just above my tailbone.
Those sweat glands are supposed to be like of masking, or they send out different pheromones, usually for protection or when they want to mate or whatever else. Some people have arguably can't speak today, have called some animalistic or very possessive and different characteristics that you would probably pair with those other mammals.
Look how easy it is to be racist. Chimps and other apes grow hair all over their bodies. The hairiest people you've ever seen have been white people. Chimps tend to have big ears relative to their head size. The biggest ears I've ever seen on humans have been on white people. Ever hear of a lice outbreak among black children? Probably not. White children are 30 times more susceptible to lice infestation than are black children. The parasite simply likes to lay eggs in the hair of chimpanzees and white people more than on the hair of black people. Chimpanzees love to swing in trees. Apparently, so do suburban white children. They typically can't wait to build and live in a backyard treehouse. The white people clearly want to return to their fully primitive state.
Hey, yo! Yo, whoa!
Here we go. Now, mind you, this is not the dark web by any means. This is just something that you can look up casually. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of the Human Meat Project. People for people. One body can feed up to 40 people. Donate now. That's not the other one. Hold on. CannibalClub.org. Specializing in the preparation of human meat, Cannibal Club brings the cutting edge of experimental cuisine to the refined plates of LA's cultural elite. Hold on, let me show you this week's menu. Panini pasta with meat sauce, sirloin steak, placenta lasagna.
We are the first species on the face of this earth to be aware of evolution, to be aware that we are affecting our own evolution by everything that we do. The babies we eat, the food we eat, the wars we fight.
Hello.
Is more dangerous. Umar Johnson. Okay, thank you.
With us what white people actually created, and I think you're going to enjoy this watch. So let's let the clip roll.
Can you create a white list? You know what? I'm 2 steps ahead of you. Here are some things that white people have made. Chattel slavery, Ronald Reagan, redlining, gerrymandering, the one-drop rule, anti-literacy laws, the N-word, microaggressions, taxes, white-collar crime, Ronald Reagan, the apartheid, segregation, speeding tickets, bank bailouts, the current financial system, conversion therapy, the Klan, police. The Klan and police seem really close together there, don't they? Mandatory minimums, Ronald Reagan, forced sterilization, environmental rape, transatlantic slave trade, displacing of indigenous peoples, witch hunts, predatory lending practices, the war on drugs, and the iPhone. The whiteboard has 2 sides. You want me to flip the board? I'll flip the board. More things brought to you by white people. Ronald Reagan, Ronald Reagan, Ronald Reagan. I'm just kidding. Trickle-down economics, Christopher Columbus, the credit scoring system, systematic racism, actual Ronald Reagan, eminent domain, potato salad with raisins. I see you. Homeowners associations, the 5-day work week, tipping culture, Jim Crow, paid education like tuition, the Internal Revenue Service, Ronald Reagan.
I swear, every time he says Ronald Reagan, I'm dying. But I want to add something to the list though, the copywriting system, so they can steal from other people effectively. Clock that. Let's continue.
Eugenics, gentrification, race as a whole, conceptually. Casseroles, Ronald Reagan, European beauty standards, segregation, contacting uncontacted tribes, an iPad. Yes, I'm aware how sick this shirt is, and how small.
I don't know why, but this clip always has me rolling. I've had it for a very good while now, maybe a year, if not even more than a year. I've had this clip on my phone. And every time I watch it, it's like I'm watching it for the first time. When he said contacting uncontacted tribes, I died. I died like 3 times. I've been saying I will share this clip with you guys, but the time has never been right until now, I guess. Can you think of any other thing that white people invented? You know, the ones they truly invented, not the ones...
And then look up how old Europeans are. Let's do that. This is Google. It's not, Google wasn't made by a black person, so no one can say shit to us. So...
Africans are around 7 million years old.
How old are Europeans? We're 7 million years old! All right? Happy birthday, African. I don't know what day it was on, but How old are Europeans?
The genetic lineage of Europe mysteriously transformed about 4,500 years ago.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Okay, hold on.
You're 4,500 years old.
Wait, how old?
And we 7 million.
Well, African civilization was 3150 BC. I think this is a more complicated question. So the oldest civilization is from Southern Africa, the San people from Southern Africa.
The San people that look Asian, yes. The San people, that's where everybody's traced from. You can see the documentary, The Journey of Man, where this white guy, who's a geneticist, proved that. The Journey of Man, it's on YouTube. They even have a book. This white dude went out, so you guys will believe it. Blonde-haired white guy wanted to find out the origin of everyone, and they trace it back to those San people who are from South Africa, who have Asiatic faces. That is where Asian people have their faces from. The Asian look is African. It is not from China. It's from Africa. There are African tribes that have Asiatic faces. That's where the shit comes from. People come from Africa. Why are we surprised? There are albino Africans. That's all I'm saying. So,
right. I think I was actually wrong. I think the whole 4.5 million, because I don't think humans were around millions of years ago.
Well, we're a couple 100,000 years. We're oldest people. We're the oldest people.
But every scientist has been in agreement that Africans were the original humans.
Even though they're mad, they go, damn it. Every time they go to Africa, they dig up another bone. Fuck!
Right.
Fuck! People are. And then look up how old European.
They say it's a myth. They say it's hate. But when you trace the science in the scriptures, what you find is a pattern too precise to ignore. 6,000 years ago, according to the teachings of the Nation of Islam, a brilliant but misguided black scientist named Yaqub began an experiment on the island of Patmos. Not just a science experiment, an agenda. He wanted to engineer a new people by isolating the lightest traits in our gene pool, generation after generation. Through selective breeding, he began grafting out the dominant traits of original people, melanin, compassion, connection to the divine, and left behind something else. A being with little pigmentation, recessive traits, aggression hardwired through scarcity. And while they laugh at the idea, science quietly confirms what they mock. Recessive traits only rise in isolated populations. That's not mythology. That's evolutionary biology. It's called a genetic bottleneck. European populations, especially those descending from the last ice age, are genetically linked to a very small founder group, likely less than 200 individuals. And when you isolate a population, what happens? The weaker traits that would normally be masked by dominant melanin, start to express. Red hair, pale skin, blue eyes, and lower levels of melanin come with consequences. Weaker immune function, inability to absorb sunlight, higher rates of neurodegenerative disease. That's not opinion, that's peer-reviewed. The MC1R gene governs melanin expression. In melanin-dominant people, it regulates deep pigmentation, UV protection, and energy conversion. In melanin-recessive populations, mutations in this gene result in depigmentation, traits that make the body vulnerable in sunlight, mentally unstable under pressure, and cut off from vibrational memory. And here's the part that connects the science to the soul. Once Yaqub's creation reached critical mass, they were exiled into the caves of West Asia, what we now call Europe. There, in the cold, dark isolation of mountains and ice, survival wasn't about harmony, it was about domination. Over thousands of years, a culture emerged that saw nature not as divine, but as something to conquer. Scarcity bred greed. Sunlight became an enemy. And from this cauldron, the false systems we now live under were born. White supremacy, colonization, capitalism, it all traces back to a cold world mindset forged in those caves. So when they ask, where do white people really come from? The answer isn't just Europe, it's grafted mutation. It's selective survival. It's a legacy of trying to escape the sun and the truth that lives in it. And that's why they still try to block it out. Why they—
Whoa, hang on, guys.
Y'all, so I gotta tell y'all what happened when me and my friend went to this restaurant, right? It's crazy. So we in a restaurant and it's this man's birthday. And I'm guessing he there with his wife, girlfriend, whatever. And so after the people tell him happy birthday, whatever, and sing happy birthday to him, he's like, yeah, we just had a baby. So the people's like, oh, well, congratulations. Da, 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 da. So he was like, yeah, she's so cute. She's so adorable, even though she was born with a tail. Me and my friend looked at each other like, okay, what did he just say? And then that's when he says, well, she gets it from her daddy because I was born with a tail too. What? Now, I'm not trying to offend anybody because how you was born was how you were born. But I really want to educate myself on this. So I am going to do some research and educate myself about this thing because that was the first time that came out in public like that. And I'm like there to witness it. I couldn't help but wonder if the tail was back there wagging when they was singing happy birthday.